Hello. Hey everybody. Ksenia, how you doing? Good stuff, good stuff. Hey everybody. Good to see you again, Veronica, Emily, Michael, Jessica, Kimberly, Michelle, Natalie, Dawn, Joan, Anita. How's everyone doing? We ready for some hard work today? I hope we are. Alrighty. We'll let everybody kind of get settled in here. Now, if anybody's gone through level one of Merchant Mastery Elite, you would know when we're creating the five ingredient offer stack formula, five ingredients, hook, transaction, brand, influence, function, attributes. What's the hardest ingredient? The hooks. The hooks are always the hardest. And that's what we've been working on for the last couple sessions, and we're going to be working on today. Okay, so it takes the most time, it requires the most thought, it requires us to understand their customer and understand it requires us to understand their desires, our unique mechanisms. So we spent a lot of time developing our category of one headlines. Today is going to be the final lesson on how to complete your category of one headline. So it's going to be a session where I'm kind of teaching you. I'm going to be teaching you how to make your headline uniquely yours that solves a desire for your customer better than anyone has before. Okay, so in today's session, there isn't going to be a Q&A. I'm going to be teaching you how to do it. And I purposely am being annoying. You guys are going to hate me because I'm not showing you any, I'm showing you a few examples. Okay, I have a few. I have a few examples, but a true category of one headline needs to be uniquely yours. And the way that you create those is by understanding your market, your customer, your unique mechanism, and creating it in a way that nobody has before. So I want you all to do the hard work. That's the only way we can create a category of one headline is to do the hard work. So I am going to set you up with some guides. I'm going to make it a little easier for you, but I'm going to kind of walk through the lesson today. I'm going to send you off with your final assignment. And then when we meet next Thursday, that's when we're going to look at everybody's. Okay. So I want everybody to have their category of one headline ready by next week. You're going to present them to me. We're going to go through as many as we can. If you're still stuck, no worries. We can workshop some next week. We could do the live Q&A next week. And I'll try and help you get through it and revise it, improve it. But the assignment is that you're gonna come next week with your category of one headline. You're gonna present it, and then we can give you feedback on it then. Or if you're completely stuck, we could workshop it. But today is gonna be a really, really impactful lesson. So let's hop into it. All right, I'm gonna share my screen here. I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, so here we are, Story-Driven Ads Bootcamp. This is the third training session. So as a reminder, if there's anybody who's coming down for the first time, why are we writing long form story ads? The long form story ad is used to position your brand as a category of one who can solve your customer's desire better than anyone else has. So it's a really powerful way to position you as the best option at solving your customer's desire. Okay, and as everybody knows, I've been integrating some of these principles from one of the best marketing books ever written, Breakthrough Advertising. So I am going to be integrating a lot of our Merchant Mastery's offer stacking formula into this entire bootcamp, but I'm also integrating some concepts from this book, which was written by Eugene Shorts back in 1966, considered by many to be the best copywriting book ever written. And we're going to be using some more of those principles today. And so the first step as we're creating our long form story ad is step one, creating the category of one headline, which is like your hook. So as I said in my little opening there, we've spent 3 sessions dedicated to figuring this out. And we're really trying to position you as the best at solving your customer's desire. Okay. And when creating this category of one headline, do you remember I was talking about 3 levels of creativity you could tap into when creating this? The laziest level of creativity is number one here, borrowing. And that's when you find somebody who's written a headline in your industry and you replace their product with yours. So this is just direct imitation of successful ads without creating anything new. The second level up from that is requiring a little bit of customization. This is when we're using generic formulas. So you're following tried and true formulas to create a headline that's tailored to your product. It introduces some customization, but still relies on structured templates. So if everybody remembers last week, that's what we were doing. We were working on those level two of creativity formula type headlines. The best kind of headline or hook is original creation. And this is why I'm being so annoying, is because I want to encourage everybody to get better at creating original ideas. And if you're here to tell me, Scott, you make it look easy, Scott, my English isn't my first language, whatever it may be, I'm here to say I think you could do better. It just requires reps. Just like going to the gym, we got to practice. Okay, and so I had a lot of us practicing writing headlines last week on the spot. But this is when you develop a completely original headline by understanding your product, audience, and market. Okay, and just for anybody who's tempted to use ChatGPT for level three, it can't be done. It can't be done. I even asked ChatGPT. I said, "Hey, in breakthrough advertising, he talks about three levels of creativity: borrowing, formulas, and doing the work yourself." And I was like, because the book was written before ChatGPT, I'm wondering where ChatGPT would fit into this. And even ChatGPT said, "Good insight. We could definitely help with level one and level two. Like we can give you headlines that have worked in the past. We can give you formulas for headlines that you customize slightly. But to create a level three headline, the best way to use ChatGPT is as a brainstorming partner. It's not gonna, that we need antidotes, elements that are uniquely you. ChatGPT is not gonna know those, but you can use ChatGPT to brainstorm. So even ChatGPT said in conclusion, the magic still lies in your ability to craft something distinctly you. And before you hate me too much and you're like, wow, this guy's really making it hard, I have some really good guidelines to give you today that's going to make it easy. And I do have a couple more formulas that you could use to help you brainstorm these things, okay? So in the first session, just as a recap, where are we at? In the first session, we defined four things. We came up with the one most prominent mass desire that is the most on your customer's mind. We identified your customer's stage of awareness. Remember, it was unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, most aware. We came up with your level of market sophistication. And then we had you define your unique mechanism. Based on those four elements, in the second session, I gave everybody 17 assignments, essentially, 17 different types of headlines that we could create. So we had five headlines that were based on the customer stage of awareness. We had five headlines that were based on the level of market sophistication. We had three headlines that were based on the matrix. That's where your customer stage of awareness and level of market sophistication intersect. And I gave you like three formulas to follow based on the 38 types of headlines. So wherever the matrix, wherever you intersected on the matrix, it would have said, hey, here's three suggested headlines for you to use. See below, there's some formulas for those. So you had five based on stage of awareness, five on level of market sophistication, three on the matrix where those two things intersect, and then there was four unique mechanism headlines that you did. So hopefully everybody's doing those reps, building that muscle, and you were able to practice all 17. Because today we're going to be doing the hardest part. We're creating the level three headlines, also known as your category of one headline that requires the most creativity. And we're going to achieve this by introducing what we call breakthrough elements into your headlines. These breakthrough elements are things that are uniquely you, that differentiate you, that nobody else could say. Alrighty. So there's four types of breakthrough elements that I'm going to be showing you in here. But before I do, just as a reminder, what are we trying to accomplish with the category of one breakthrough headline? This is a headline that is really specific, unique, and urgent to the problem or desire your customer has. It's the freshest, most breakthrough way of expressing it, and it's a headline that's never been written before in that market. This is what defines the category of one breakthrough headline. So we need to achieve these three things. It's got to be specific at solving the desire. It's got to be said in a fresh breakthrough way to express it in a way that's never been written before. Okay, so to help you with this, we want to consider including one or four of the breakthrough elements in your headline. Okay, so I'll give you some guidelines on how to do that. So we're going to be going through the four breakthrough elements right now. The first one is introducing a crazy extreme founder story. Not the whole founder story, just a crazy, unique thing that you've done to arrive at how amazing your product is. And so this is about like brand obsession and origin uniqueness. And why do these work when you install like a crazy founder anecdote? Is because people love brands that go to insane lengths to make their product the best. It signals passion, exclusivity, and craftsmanship. So I have a formula. I said it was going to be hard. It's actually a little bit easier than I was saying. I have a formula that you could use for this, and so that's going to be one of the first assignments. Is we're creating a few more headlines before we get to our category of one. The formula would be we, and then insert the great lengths you've gone to create your product that provides this desire or benefit. So I have four examples here. We searched through 47 forests to find the rarest tree bark for this candle that will make any home smell like the Canadian Rockies. We're obsessive. And people are like, dang, that is wild. These are one of my favorite little stories to use is these crazy founder stories. Another example, we tested 200 body butter formulas before we found the one that locks in moisture for 24 hours. This next one is one that I wrote. I wrote this for somebody merchant mastery for a jewelry brand. Nancy Yuan this was the one I wrote with her. I visit dozens of coasts and canyons and inspect hundreds of natural elements before adopting my next muse. Sounds nuts. And that's the idea. That's why I put the word crazy in there. Okay. This is another one that I actually wrote, a jewelry brand in merchant mastery. Shabella. It took our family 30 years to perfect this tennis bracelet. So far, so good. Okay, so that's element one is introducing a crazy extreme founder element. The lengths you've gone to do this. Okay, the second type of breakthrough element that you can introduce is a customer story or anecdote. And this is when you're tapping into a shared identity and experience where the customer sees that anecdote, that element, and they're like, oh, that's me. Okay, this is why it works. These ads make customers feel like this is for me by speaking to their identity and shared experiences. Okay, and so with this one, you're trying to say, you're trying to speak to the avatar, and you would say something like, every avatar knows this pain point or aspirational desire. So they're saying, yeah, I know it. Like we're basically saying, do you know it? Are you one of us? That's what it's essentially saying. Are you one of us? Okay. So for example, I'll just jump down to the bottom example for that formula. Every winter athlete knows the struggle. Skin that cracks before you even hit the slopes. As soon as we open with that line, every winter athlete knows the struggle. They're gonna be like, I'm a winter athlete. Do I know the struggle? They want to know that they're part of the conversation. And so you're really looking for these unique customer anecdotes that you would know about your customer better than anyone else. Okay, so that's one of the formulas there is every avatar knows pain point or aspirational desire. There's another one that's really fun. It's like a dialogue formula. The dialogue formula. So I'll show you the example here because that one might not make sense if I just show you the formula. Let's go down to this first example. This is one that I wrote for somebody in Merchant Mastery as well, Marie. She sells mason jars. Not only does she sell them, she has a brick and mortar shop with like hundreds, if not thousands of them. She's like the mason jar queen of Vancouver. Okay, so in this example, we created a dialogue between the customer talking to somebody else. So the dialogue says, right here, this is the opening headline. Your husband, when he discovers your newest mason jar, it's just a container. Rolls eyes. You, drops dead, clutches pearls. Okay. So it's creating this dialogue between the avatar and the person who doesn't see the value in the product. And so the formula here is person who doesn't understand avatar says something incorrect about product and or desire, and the avatar insert bold or sarcastic reaction. Okay. Now the next one, this is a little bit easier to follow. The next two, this one here just says they see undesirable. We see aspirational state or desire. And so it's kind of saying, it's kind of getting people again about identity. Hey, most people would see this. We see the opportunity. And anyone who's your avatar and they see that, they're like, yep, that's totally me. That is totally me. I experience that on a day-to-day basis. So the example I have here, this is another one I wrote with a member in Merchant Mastery. It's Lori's Country Cottage. They're like the sweetest quilting ladies you've ever met in the world. And we wrote this headline here. It says, "They see another piece of cloth. We see fabric with a world of possibilities." And so it's really tapping into that experience of the quilter who's like, "Yep, these people think I'm crazy. They just see another piece of cloth, but we see our lifestyle." So it's kind of polarizing. It's an identity frame. Are you like them or are you like us? Are you one of them or are you one of us? Okay. And then we have another example here. The last one would be the easiest one for this customer story is just use a testimonial as the headline that speaks to the avatar or the transformation desire. I'm a 50-year-old woman and I couldn't solve this until I found this product and now I have the best skin ever. Okay, so if you can find a customer testimonial that serves as your category of one headline, we would want to try that too. Okay, so the first one was crazy extreme founder stories. The second one is customer stories and anecdotes. And then the third one is unique stats and claims that are only true to you. And you want to make your product feel undeniable by giving it some numbers. Okay, and why it works, big numbers and unexpected comparisons stop people from scrolling. So they see some big data, some big stats, and they're like, what? I got to see this. Okay, so the formula here is unique stat of customers trust our insert product for desire. 10,000 customers trust our pillowcases for better sleep. 97% of customers said their skin felt softer after one use. This is a real one from Hello Mellow, Tracy and Kimberly in Merchant Mastery. 90% of our orders are repeat customers. And so you're just summarizing something remarkable with a stat or a number in this one. And these numbers are uniquely yours. How many customers? 97% five-star reviews, 657 five-star reviews. So you're summarizing some kind of remarkable accomplishment with a stat and a number. Okay. And then the last one, so number 4, which is another fun one. This is the truth bomb or confession. Using the language or voice of your brand and your avatar. It creates intrigue, surprise, and there's like an emotional jolt. And so it works because the reader doesn't expect it. So it serves as a pattern interrupt. It's dramatic. Hey, bet you didn't know this. Truth bomb. We're about to drop. Okay. So the formula is kind of like you have this transparent opening. I'm not going to lie to you. People have been lying to you. I'm going to be honest with you. So you're being really transparent with something that the customer wouldn't know about. And then you call out the problem of a competing product or a unique truth about your product. So for example, you see my Piranha skincare ones right there. This will be the most expensive skincare product you ever purchase. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Truth bomb. But it'll be the purest and give your skin a radiant glow like no other has. Okay, so this is the next example is one that I wrote with a member in Merchant Mastery. It's Natasha Cruz. She has like the one size magic pants. That's actually what they call them in Italy. Magic pants. One size fits all. Doesn't matter what size you would use. It's one size fits everybody magically, and they're pretty phenomenal. So in hers, it's let's be honest. So true, we're about to drop a truth bomb when we have an opening like that. Let's be honest. Once you get to a certain age, you just want to be comfortable. But does that mean living and going out in sweatpants? Okay. The last one, this one was written by Claire Duggan, who's also in Merchant Mastery. She wrote this one for her long form ad. Truth bomb. Today, bugs aren't just pests, they carry dangerous diseases. So the sisters needed protection to enjoy the outdoors. Okay. So those are the 4 breakthrough elements that we are going to include in our category of one headline. So let's go look at our worksheet now. Just like all the other sessions, I got a new worksheet for you, which I think is really, really interesting and it's going to give you some guidance on how to do this. Okay. So this is what the worksheet looks like. Of course, I'm using Field Trip again as some of the examples. So the first thing I have here is we've included those formulas that I've shown you. So I want you to use the formula and come up with four based on the four breakthrough elements. So here it's like crazy extreme founder stories. We insert the great lengths you've gone to create your product that provides desired benefit. So it would be like we searched through 47 forests to find the rarest tree bark for this candle that will make any home smell like the Canadian Rockies. It's got that crazy founder part. Okay, the next one, customer stories and anecdotes. Every avatar knows this is true. Every winter athlete knows the struggle. And this is a really good one. It's an identity frame where people are like, yep, I know that too. I know that. I'm like them. I know it. And so they get on the bandwagon. Okay. And then you see there's a little note here. It says at the bottom of the page, remember, out of these four breakthrough elements, it's only the customer stories and anecdotes where we had more than one formula. So three of them only had one formula. Customer stories and anecdotes had four. So I've just listed one here, but there's three more of these at the very bottom here. So if you want to consider one of the other customer story and anecdote formulas, you can. I've included one in the table, but the other three are right here. So you have the option to swap it out for one of these if you want. Okay. And then the next one is the unique stat and claim formula. Unique stat of customers trust our product for this desire. 10,000 customers trust our pillowcases for better sleep. Okay. And then the truth bomb, that's when you have the transparent opening and you call out the problem with competing products or a unique truth about your product. This will be the most expensive skincare product you ever purchase. Not gonna lie. Truth bomb. But it will also be the purest, give your skin a radiant glow like no other. Okay, so this is going to be your first assignment just to kind of warm things up and come up with these uniquely you headlines. So you're going to come up with each four headlines based on those four formulas. Once you're done that, I have a second assignment for you. So what I want you to do next is we're going to pick our four favorite level two headlines. So remember the last worksheet where we created 17 and it was the unique mechanisms and the stage of awareness, market sophistication, and the matrix. Out of those 17, you're going to pick four and we're going to add a breakthrough element to them. Okay, so let me show you how that looks. So this is my example again for field trip. So I literally went into that worksheet. I had all the headlines filled out. These were the four that I liked the best. Okay. And then I'm going to add a breakthrough element to each. So one is going to be the crazy extreme founder. One's going to be customer story and anecdote. One's going to be unique stat. The other's going to be truth bomb. Okay. So let's go through each of them. So the first one was struggling with dry, irritated skin. Our waterless body butter restores moisture and locks it in. Now we're going to add a crazy extreme founder element. Struggling with dry, irritated skin. It took us 10 years and 60 prototypes to create waterless body butter that restores moisture and actually locks it in. So we just took that level two one that we did with the formula. We added this breakthrough element in there. Okay, the next one, super butter delivers Arctic grade hydration for all day comfort, guaranteed. Now we're just adding a little customer story or anecdote. Winter athletes know. Our super butter delivers Arctic grade hydration for all day comfort, guaranteed. And it's really that frame. And I'm looking, Dawn would be a really good one. My race tats, like marathon runners know. And so any marathon runner who sees that is like, oh, I better know this. Or what's going on here? Do I know this? Do I agree? Oh, I'm in the small club of people who know. Awesome. Okay. Let's look at the next one. So the next one here, the science behind our rapid cooling technique and why it delivers Arctic grade hydration. The science behind, so now we're adding in a unique stat or claim. The science behind our rapid cooling technique and how we have delivered Arctic grade hydration for 10,000 winter athletes. Okay. The science behind our rapid cooling technique and how we have delivered Arctic grade hydration for 10,000 winter athletes. All right. And then the last one, we're adding the truth bomb. So this one was like one of those metaphor headlines that said, this Arctic hero will save your skin from winter damage. So now we're adding a truth bomb to that. Let's be honest, ladies. However you would call out your avatar, you want to use your language. I remember there was somebody in Merchant Mastery who sells like vintage 70s, like hippie apparel. You would use like hippie language. I'm trying to think of some hippie language, but like, what, I don't know what kind of words they would use, but you want to use that lexicon in your headline. I'm trying to think of something that like, I can't even remember what they would call each other, but what you want to use words that your avatar would use. Let's be honest, ladies, most body butters dehydrate your skin. Truth bomb, we just added to it. This Arctic here will actually save your skin from winter damage. Okay, so we're using a truth bomb speaking to the avatar in the language that you would use and that they would resonate with. Because it creates this like exclusive circle when you're using the language. Okay, so that's going to be your assignment. One of them is going through here, listing out your top four level two headlines from the last worksheet, and then you need to introduce these four breakthrough elements into them. And I actually believe that if everybody does this exercise, you're going to come back next week with some remarkable headlines because it's got the unique mechanism, the desire, and then the category of one breakthrough element in there too. All right. So, all right. So that after you've done that, this is where we're getting close to the final assignment. Based on everything you've done here, so these four, the level two, anything that we've done in the last few sessions, you're going to choose your final category of one breakthrough headline that you like the best. So it's probably going to come out of this table right here because you've come up with your four favorite from the level two. You've introduced your breakthrough element. You're going to choose your favorite one. The only way it wouldn't come from these four is that if there was another one from the level two exercise, remember at the start of the level two exercise, I said you might actually be creating your category one headline today. It's possible. So if there was already one that you created in the level two exercise that was perfect, we might not even need to change it. So you might put that right in here. But it's very likely that they're going to come from this table. Okay, so the last thing you do is you write one here and you just need to run it through this breakthrough headline checklist and make sure it meets all this criteria. So you're going to pick your final headline, you're going to write it right here, and then you're going to go through these 7 questions to make sure that it is actually a breakthrough headline, category of one. Okay, so you would be like, have I ever seen this headline before? I hope not, because we're using some of those unique breakthrough elements. Does it feel specific to my brand and my product? Could a competitor say it? And if you got the crazy founder story, if you got the numbers, if you got the customer anecdotes, like there's a good chance they couldn't say it. Does it tap into my audience's deepest desire or pain point? This is an important one to remember. We don't want to just get lost in the anecdote. We want to be tying it back to solving that desire better than anyone else has. Okay. Does it make your product feel undeniable? Wow, I got to check that out. That sounds different. Would it make you stop scrolling? Is it alarming or jarring or dramatic enough that you're like, I got to check this out? Does it sound like it was written by a real person? And is there at least one breakthrough element in it? Okay. So this is the work that is cut out for us right now. I'm going to stop sharing for a sec. How's everybody feeling about that assignment? Does it seem pretty good? Yeah. Yeah. I think like, my task was to make sure that all of us from different industries, different product categories, different levels of marketing experience are able to go through this process and still create a category of one headline no matter what path you're on. Whether you're an innovative product that people are just hearing about, whether you're in a competitive space, you go through this process, you should all be able to come up with a differentiating category of one headline. Okay. And like I said, I didn't want to do any live workshopping today because I don't want you to follow the lazy writer's path and just be like, oh, that one looked good. I'm just going to use that. I want you to actually come up with something, but following these pretty easy steps and just come up with something that's uniquely yours. And then I'm going to be way nicer next week because that's when I will say, okay, fine. So my task for next week is I want everybody to present, like, present your category of one headline, have it ready to show everybody. And then I will be giving feedback on them. So I'll either say, yeah, this is a 10 out of 10, or hey, there's a little bit of improvement here. This is how we could fix it. Or if you're just completely stuck and you're like, you know what, Scott, I really did try. I really did try, but this is the best I've got. We could do some live workshopping and we'll create those category of one headlines next week. So this is the hard week where you got to kind of like do the work, come up with your best version. But next week I'll make it way easier for you. We'll do live feedback, live workshopping, and we'll make sure have everybody has like a truly differentiated headline. Okay, and so I will say I'm just gonna give you the last thing here, and then I have a closing comment. But if we go back into the slide deck here, this is the action item. So if you go to the long form story ad bootcamp, which is under the classroom, and you go to session 3, which is this one that's happening right now, you'll find this new worksheet. So you just want to make sure you fill out that entire worksheet and specifically have your category of one headline ready to review next week. Okay, so that was my last share of the day. But so that now I'm going to open up for questions specifically about how to complete the worksheet, not about what to write for your headline. I want you to go through that experience yourself between now and next week. But does anybody have questions about how to fill out the worksheet? Or anything that you might have missed along the way, like choosing your desires, doing the level 2 formulas, just making sure everybody's caught up and is clear on what we're trying to do between now and next week. Okay, so questions about the process, Natalie.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Scott. Great
Hey.
information. One of the things I'm struggling with are your questions at the end. Like, does this represent my brand? Is this unique? Is it written by me? I find it really hard to validate that. Like, I've written some hooks, and some of the feedback I've gotten from some of the hooks in my offer stack are they're written by ChatGPT, but I actually wrote them without ChatGPT.
Nice.
But, like, how do I like a mentor said that to me and now I'm like okay but I guess I'm just struggling with like how do I make those questions true to me, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I'm communicating that right.
Oh, you are. Anything prior to today didn't really have that breakthrough unique to you element in it.
Right.
Unless it was the unique mechanism and you did such a good job of defining the unique mechanism. The unique mechanism is the only uniquely you part.
Right.
But if you're adding the story anecdote, the customer anecdote, the data, the truth bomb, then it's going to be like unlike anything anyone's ever said.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't worry about not having cracked it yet. If you
Okay.
still haven't cracked it by next week after going through this exercise, then we're going to do a full audit and break it apart and rewrite it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
And yeah, so next week there's gonna be no training. It's just gonna be live. We're just gonna workshop. We're gonna go through everybody's category one headlines one after the other, make sure everybody has the best version walking away from that session. But yeah, good. It's a good question, Natalie. And I think just this is the part where we make it uniquely you. Today's lesson. All right, Veronica.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much. This is really, really helpful. And last session, actually, it was really, really good too. Um, so my question is, when I see what you were presenting today, I quickly jump into, oh my gosh, we have traveled more than 5 continents to find the manufacturing companies that we work with, period. That is at the brand level. But then when I see what we do, I see it more in terms of the products that we make. For example, the one that is for the passports, which is a clutch. No one has what we have. That is completely unique, completely new. That is solving a huge problem for women. So then, should I focus on communicating what is unique about that, and for that particular product too? Like I can see both. I can see writing for the brand, who we are and what we do, and that is one. But at the lower level, it's more and probably more impactful is this product solve this problem, and you don't have this product. It doesn't exist. We created that product from scratch.
Yeah, I think like this is an age-old question that comes up a lot because some of us have brick and mortar stores like Anita here. You have a collection of products. Jessica Muto has many, products, but some of us have one. Let's see who here has one product. Gata? Yeah, Gata. Dawn. Okay, so I think the answer is what are we trying to get the most success with in our ads campaign first? If you have many products, are we going to focus on a hero product? Like we know we have a bestseller that sells better than anything else. That's where I would start. I would always start where I have the most, the best track record. So if I have a track record of selling that purse, that's where I'm going to start. If I have a track record of selling any kind of purse, I might start with a collection.
And the reason I'm asking is because, as you know, we are in a very saturated market. I need to be able to differentiate ourselves from everyone else. And I think this product could be a great opportunity for us to open the door, to have the door open to have clients that don't know anything about us and see who we are and what we do. Is a great, it is a very well manufactured product. Like the craftsmanship is incredible. There's nothing like it in the market. And that will probably help us more than just, another company that,
Yeah. Like,
selling.
the competitors don't stand a chance against category of one headlines. So I don't care about saturation. I'm selling a skincare product, very saturated market, extremely saturated market. But the reason I wanted to do it is because I didn't care about the saturated market. I care about the category of one factor, the unique differentiator. How many of your competitors have airplane stitching in their purses?
Yep.
Okay,
No
so
one.
I don't care about the competition. People like purses, they're gonna buy purses. Do women own more than one purse? Yeah. So we got a good market in front of us. We just got to really differentiate. That's the task. And so the answer is totally if I was like you got to run an ad campaign, is it going to be for one product? Is it going to be a collection? So some people it might be a collection. There's like a lot of brick and mortar stores we work with who are like selling sweaters in the winter, bathing suits in the summer. It might be a collection. But we want you to win with your ad sooner than later, so we want to start where you have the best track record. And it
Mhm.
might be a hero product. It's like, hey, every time I go to markets, everybody loves that bag. We might just start with that bag so we can get some sales in the door.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Michelle.
Yeah, a couple things. This is probably petty, but on the first worksheet, analyze the market. I was trying to figure out, am I writing down what other competitors say, or am I combating what the competitors say?
It's understanding like because the reason we put that in there is because often you're in a saturated market or an
Mm-hmm.
overcrowded market, like Veronica was just saying. And if you are, what is everybody else saying so that we can like
Okay.
steer away from that?
Okay. So basically, these are the things you don't want to say. Uh,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
And
It's like
I just cram. Yeah, no,
what's that?
that's all I needed because as I was reading it, I could see it going both ways. So I just crammed because I missed last week. So I just finished it and it was fantastic. So the unique mechanism, is that going to be like a coined phrase?
Yeah, so it could be.
Okay.
It could be. Like if you think about the field trip example that I was
Hmm.
giving, let me just pull up that worksheet. Just give me one
Well,
sec.
I heard Amy's and it sounded like she actually like created this sort of thing that's going to be unique to theirs and it's got to
Yeah.
fit type of thing. But should we aim for something like that?
It could be. It could be a name
Okay.
like Amy gave
What
it.
else could it be?
So, yeah, so let me show you. So if I open up this worksheet, this was from the last session. So if we think about the field trip example, was the body butter? I'm trying to capture everything. I'm trying to capture the ingredients that make it different, the benefit it provides, and like the process. So the ingredient, the process, the benefit. So I've written here, waterless, super concentrated formula for Arctic grade hydration lasting 24 hours.
Okay. And I've got
Okay?
that bulleted. I mean, I have, 15 things that make us different than the
Yeah.
competitor. But should I keep going on that until one of them stands out, or should I try to come up with some kind of my Bambinoism?
I think like so and if you look also, there was another one here. Let me just show you no wait, what's way down here? Unique mechanism. Yeah, unique mechanism headlines. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Hold on a sec. Oops. If you look at like this one, Field Trip also legitimately has a proprietary cooling technique while the product's being
Okay.
made. It needs to be cooled down as it's being made. But did you notice I didn't even include the proprietary cooling technique in that summary at the beginning?
Okay.
I probably could. I kind of am tempted to go back. The reason I want the summary is because I just want to know all the things in our
Okay,
process
and
that,
I've done that. I did
yeah,
that part quickly. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing the point that as I was doing this, I was trying to come up with some kind of coined phrase that we do that sort of encompasses everything.
okay. So I'll answer that in a sec. But also look at, and I'm gonna get to that because that's a really good question. But look at this example up here. This one says like unique mechanism is the answer. This time I just said waterless body butter.
Okay,
So it's
okay,
it there isn't like a tried, tested, and true rule that you always have to use the one line, you always have to use five ingredients. You could just throw one in there.
okay, great.
But
And had I
but
gotten to the point where I was actually doing the worksheet, I would have probably realized that, but at least that it will help me fill it out.
yeah, yeah. And I
So,
think that honestly, I think like the gold standard for me is to eventually give it a name.
okay, okay.
Okay. So if you look at like, let's go look at Piranha Skincare. If you look on our homepage here, we invented a unique mechanism. Okay. And this is something I actually pretty much spearheaded the whole thing. And so it's our 333 promise.
I like that.
Three proven pillars that target three root causes with results in 3 weeks.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of proprietary, unique mechanism stuff happening. It was like, the three proven pillars. It's the three C's. It's clean, it's clean, clinically proven, and comprehensive. But it also targets the three root causes of aging, which are loss of collagen, compromised microbiomes, exposure to free radicals. But we also give results in 3 weeks. So all three of these things are unique mechanisms in of themselves.
Right.
But I want to define it. Our 333 promise. How do we get results for your skin? It's our 333 promise.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's like our
brilliant.
333, and people are like, "Oh, I've never heard of that. What's a 333 promise for skincare?"
Very clever.
Yeah, and so I think that the takeaway there is that it's probably many things, and you want to be testing different combinations of these unique mechanism statements. It could just be waterless body butter. It could be waterless body butter with a proprietary cooling method that has Arctic grade hydration that lasts 24 hours. I'm actually going to add the cooling in there because I just realized that sounds even better. Right? So you kind of want to like flush it out into one sentence and then use bits and pieces here and there,
But
depending
but it
on
should be a sentence, not bulleted at this point, right? Because I saw
it,
the summary at some point.
yeah,
Okay.
it's well, okay, so
Make it
so
a
to
fluid
to
sentence if possible.
to make this really resonate, this is where it'll all come together for you. This is this was the worksheet from last time. There's a section in there called unique mechanism headlines.
Okay.
So it's your job to say, finally, unique mechanism that fulfills desire. Struggling with problem, unique mechanism is the answer. So I think in the process of filling out these formulas, it's going to force you to either say it in a long way or a short way because you got to fit it into the sentence. So
But
I
it
think you
can
just need a
change,
little,
right? I mean, you can use different aspects of that statement in
yeah.
different places. Okay.
Yeah, you'll start to learn. You're like, whoa, every time I talk about the proprietary and cooling technique, I get a 5% click-through rate. But
Okay.
if I just say waterless body butter, not as much interest.
Okay. And going back to the previous question too, at this point, I haven't tried to establish the destination if like this were going to be an ad. So I've kept to the rocking chairs, but Jenny said maybe throw out your best selling page. I mean, because I have a whole line of things, and I feel like as I'm doing this workshop, it's sort of generic. We're going for the idea of these personalized gifts. So I haven't declared like what the end goal would be. I haven't been specific about a product. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
well,
I
it,
figured I
it
had
could be
arrived there.
if you have lots of items that people could choose for gift giving, it's often your curation, your selection, your expertise that is the unique mechanism in what we choose from you. I know that every
And
time
the
I go to
and the ad would possibly go to the homepage or a bestsellers page, not to just one product.
yeah, totally.
Okay, okay, great.
Bestseller sounds amazing.
Okay, great. Absolutely loving all of this. So it's great.
Bestseller would be bang on.
Okay.
And like just think about merchant mastery for a sec. Do you know how many unique mechanisms we have? We have like 20. Okay. As you're going through level one, we talk about the tree of life. And it's showing you the roots and the base of the tree and the trunk and the branches. So we're trying to explain how to build a business. We have the e-customer purchase path, how to plan out a campaign based on these 8 stages. We're just like creating our own unique way of explaining things. Full offer stack formula, unique mechanism on how to position your products better. And so we don't just have one, we have like many. And so you're gonna like test which one is really resonating with audiences the most.
Yeah, I love that. I really do. I mean, I'm going to spend a whole day just thinking about that because it's neat. I mean, it's really neat.
Spend a couple days, Michelle.
Yeah, no, I will.
Because
I
I,
have to.
and the reason I'm so I encourage you, and I'm happy to
Yeah.
hear that because I think it's your ability to differentiate yourself unlike anyone ever
Mhm.
has that is get more people's attention and get them excited about shopping with you.
Well, even that, I mean, even the visual aid that you had for the 333, I mean, that's powerful. You know, you get somebody there and you're like, oh, yeah. You know, it all encompasses something and it makes it so much easier to explain. So,
Especially when you're in a crowded market. When you're in an
yeah.
overcrowded market, you have to like it. One of the like the industries that's the most famous for their unique mechanisms is like the fitness space.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever worked for you in the past doesn't work. It's got to be hit cardio. Whatever worked for you in the past, it's got to be CrossFit. It's got to be the 3 level ab machine. Like there's everybody's always unique, introducing this way you've never heard of to get you the result that you weren't able to get before because our unique mechanism is going to be the one that does it.
Yeah. And
The
I'm not even sure that my product needs it, but I think it could, I still think it's an interesting way to go.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is. I would encourage everybody to do all these exercises because it's just going to make you stand out in a crowded sea of content that much better and get your customer to realize I'd be silly to not try this.
Great. I'm off to do the homework. So thank you.
Awesome. Jessica.
Hi. I have
Hey.
two questions. The first one is on the worksheet. I'm very literal, so if you tell me to do it, I'm going to do exactly how you tell me to do it. Should we go through the top part and brainstorm breakthrough headlines and then go back and find our 4 favorites and brainstorm
Yeah.
more? Okay.
Yeah,
Second.
exactly. So I made this to be as literal as
Okay,
possible,
good.
just to make sure that everybody gets through it the best way possible. Okay,
Okay.
so that's the exact assignment is start with just creating 4 new headlines based on those formulas, and then pull your 4 favorite from the last worksheet and insert the breakthrough elements. Because if you go through the first step first, it's going to force you to think about crazy,
Okay.
crazy founder elements, customer anecdotes, data. And once you've brainstormed them in the first process, you can inject them in the second. So that's why we did it that way.
Okay. Okay. You kind of answered my second question, so I'm good.
Yeah. No worries. Is everybody ready to write some category of one headlines then? Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait. Next week is going to be a really good session. We'll have, we're just going to jump right into it. Who's ready to show the category one headlines? We'll try and look at as many as possible. Probably be a long call. We'll give feedback. We'll revise. We'll brainstorm new ideas. I'll challenge you to push it even harder with my help. And if there's some of you who are completely stuck, we'll rally behind you and pull out the category one headline for you. All right, everybody, we got some work to do, but I'm so certain that this is going to make a massive impact on your success. Like it's going to make sure your ads stick out in a crowded sea of content, and just ultimately, if you can do this, you're going to get better at creating headlines. You're going to get better at standing out amongst your competition, and ultimately do better.
Scott, I have a quick question. This is Danae. So I'm not available next week. I have a conflict. Is it possible to like send them in and get some thoughts on them,
Yeah,
or I work with
yeah.
a success
Send
coach?
it. You betcha. You betcha. If you can't make it to next week's call, submit them in school.
Okay.
I'm gonna carve out some time. So if in an ideal world, if you can make it come, we'll get it all solved on the call. But if you're in Danae's scenario, you got to be somewhere else. Just submit it in school. I want to make sure everybody has this step in the best shape you possibly can. Because when it comes to an ad performing, it really is the hook, the headline, hitting it right with the angle, the differentiation, tapping into the desire that is going to make the ad perform. So if you can't make it to the call, yes, I will go through school and
I
review
had a
it.
class with Kieran yesterday or Monday, I guess it was. I'm so confused on days this week, but he was just not getting it, like not hearing. I'm like, and then I was like, I just like all day after the class, I kept thinking of lines for him. And I'm like, how's this one? How's this one? How's this one? Because it was almost a gift that he wasn't grasping what I was saying. So I could educate more and more and like find what he wasn't hearing and go to that point next. And
Ooh, that's a good
yeah,
insight.
now my TikToks are on fire. So
Yeah, and so here's my question for you. Okay, so first, good insight. I really like that insight. It's almost a gift that he didn't get it because it's not resonating with him. But
yeah,
maybe
like
he's
he
just not.
just was not hearing the 95% less plastic. He's like, "Oh, that other stuff is 95% plastic." And I was like, "No, it's it's
Okay.
plastic."
So remember when I was showing the customer anecdote ones where it's like
Yeah,
they see this, we see that.
yeah,
They see fancy gym wear, I see
yeah.
toxic chemicals on your body.
Right, right. Oh
Okay?
yeah,
So that's when the avatar is like, ooh, I see that too, or I don't see that.
right,
So Kyrian
right,
might be a they.
right.
He might be a they see this. But
Yeah,
your avatar might be a we see that.
that's the thing is I was like, I don't think he is my client, but I've spent 15 years trying to educate people, but I was just like at the same time, I was like, how can I reach him? Right. And so
Yeah.
it was good, but he was a they. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. It's so much
And
like,
yeah, and so, but so just got to take this with a grain of salt. It might be a good thing that he's a they, because
yeah,
then we would want to test it with a we group,
yeah,
like an
right,
audience
right, right.
view. But at the
I
same
mean,
time,
yeah,
it teaches you that educating is an uphill battle too.
it is an uphill battle. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's just like, I'm like, it's just like you just get a little bit less lofty and a little bit more grounded and more like to that point. So he can't not hear it. So it was,
Yeah. Love that
yeah,
insight. That's really good.
yeah, it was interesting.
It forces you to refine, simplify.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Love
and
it.
the thing is you have to come up with lines every day, right? And now I no longer say hooks, I say headlines. So I'm back in the 80s or whenever that book was written.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I've said hooks from the beginning of time, but just out of respect Eugene in the book, he does call them headlines, but it really is a
I'm
hook.
headlines. I'm headlining.
Yeah.
I'm that old-fashioned girl now.
Cool.
Okay, well, I'll catch up. I'll watch the back end of this. I missed the beginning of the class, but I'll watch the back end and get the work done. But I'm like everything is raring to go. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you have. And I think like if you see the beginning of this session, we were just talking about like taking your four favorites from the last exercise and
mhm.
inserting the breakthrough elements into them.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'll get on that right now.
Cool. Yeah, and I think it'll be I'm excited to like workshop these next week and give feedback and create some, but it's so much easier when there's a good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
When you've tried to do it. And
Yeah,
I can see where you might have like fallen short or how we could tweak it slightly or how we can start from scratch if we need to.
right.
Cool. Anita?
Hi, Scott. It's
Hey.
kind of like a segue from what Katie's saying. It's a generic question. Like when you get writer's block, like I have, my brand and I have collections. I don't have like one hero product that I could actually keep buying and buying and buying if I sell out. Like I'm at the mercy of the vendors. So I'm gonna go down that road, sorry, road that we did last week with the 40-year-old woman. She can't find the right, she sees bellies, butts, and boobs, whatever we said last week. So I'm going to go down that road. But I feel like sometimes I get like a creator's block. Like I'm a numbers person. So this is like very challenging to me, which is great. But I get like writer's block. Like I don't like to use ChatGPT because I feel like it muddies my head up, like with all that junk that you keep hearing.
Yeah.
So the
I
more,
don't yeah.
go
Don't
ahead.
use it for this exercise. That's what I was trying to say is don't use it
No,
for this exercise. But
I
we
can't
can use
stand
it
it.
later. We can use it later. But I just you want to try and write it yourself. Yes.
Go
Yes.
take a class with Kirian. Have him not understand you and then try and explain to him. It was
I was
good.
there like a year and a half ago. I think he helped me a lot actually. But so what do you do? Like if you get a little bit of, you probably don't even get creator's block, but what do you do? Like I step away from it. I wait like a day. I feel like
I don't
I just
like
I don't know. I'm stuck with creativity.
follow the you should be able to do like
Yeah.
so remember the level two worksheet? Like that was like the level two headline worksheet
Yeah.
where you know you there was like the five that were based on the customer stage of awareness and five that were on the level of market sophistication. Those ones are a little like those ones require you to be creative. They require you to like pull it out of thin air. The
Hmm.
other seven, there was like the unique mechanism ones and the matrix
Hmm.
ones, those all have formulas. So if you have writer's block, just go fill out the formulas exactly as they're laid out and
I
then do
should
the
go down.
exercise.
I should
Okay.
do every one, even though they might not
Yeah.
apply to me, like level
That was
four.
the purpose is the
Yeah.
reps. Get in the
Yeah.
practice, get in the habit of doing this. We can all get better.
Yeah. I have to figure out how like my entire collection I could fit into that. That's why I have a problem. Like
Yeah.
if you
Okay. So
have
here's
one
the
product, it's kind of easier, I guess.
okay. I need to do a session on multiple products for people because
You
I could
do.
see where.
I
So
struggle.
let's just look at his example. Okay, I was talking to another guy. He's a local brick and mortar store here in Edmonton. He's my guy, Philip Chung. He owns a store, a menswear store called Giselle. They got like, I went down to his shop because I've known Philip forever. I used to shop at his store when I was in university because he has it like right in the university district. And finally he reached out and was like, Scott, I want to like work on this stuff with you. So I went down to his shop and I was like, why don't we just do it in person since you're here? And he couldn't really pinpoint it either. Do I do one product? And as soon as I got in the store, I hadn't been in there in like a decade. And I was like, oh my goodness, you have like an insane denim collection. So his avatar isn't about one pair of jeans. It's like the denim head.
Mhm.
We do denim better than anyone. And it's all about denim now. Then go see our selection, go see our bestsellers. It doesn't need to be about a product, it's a collection. And the
Mhm.
avatar is the denim head or the sneaker head.
Can you come to New York? Come to my brick and mortar?
I am
Tell me
coming.
what I have.
We are coming to New York in May.
Yay. Um, and I don't
Bettina,
have a lot of everything,
Bettina
you know.
said cry. Bettina said cry, which is actually part of the creative process, cry. And then I'm just gonna
Hi,
say,
there you
like,
go.
ask yourself, like, no, like, literally go through the process of the frustration. It really happens. But I'm also gonna say, like, ask yourself at night, like, guide me to my avatar, like, before you go to sleep, like,
I
literally,
do,
like,
and then I
right.
can't sleep all
And
night. That's the
you, yeah,
problem.
well, you could, but you could also wake up in the morning dreaming it,
Tired?
dreaming it. Like the answer
I
could come to you.
yeah. I, you know what I'm trying because
Okay.
remember I was explaining the story about how I took the coaching program last year with like Tony Robbins, top sales guy, and it was about storytelling. And I was going to these coaching calls. All they would do is like reps with one lines. Everybody say this one line, like and just practicing, practicing, practicing. And then I found myself telling stories using those lines, and now I know how to make the lines better. And so I wasn't. It wasn't like immediate for me. I had to practice. I had to do some reps. So go, yeah, Katie said it best. Cry a little, go through the frustration. It'll make you better. It'll make you better. But
Actually, Jenny did a one-on-one with me and she asked me from scratch, like, how did you start this? Tell me from the beginning. And she just let me go off. And she's like, are you kidding me? Like, I never knew how to do that. I could never do that. And she actually, like, it was just a day in a life of like how I operate and I just do it every day. She pulled out so many things out of it because she was
oh yeah,
unbiased.
the magic is there. The magic is
Yeah,
there. The magic is there. It's just like you're in it, so you can't see it as well as somebody who's
right,
an outsider. Like what?
right.
Yeah.
Somebody has to pull it out.
Yeah, I would say so, and I also am not trying to be mean. I'm not like go cry, everybody go cry after this, and until you've solved it. Okay, I think that if you absolutely want to get through it without crying, go to the level two worksheet, do those unique mechanism headlines, and then follow the instruction from today where we're just adding a breakthrough element. If
Okay.
you do the unique mechanism headlines and you do the process today where you add a breakthrough element, you should be fine.
Right, that definitely helps me because
Yeah,
it's literal. It does.
it
Thanks.
is. And we've made it as like step by step as we can, as literal as we can.
Yeah, like textbook. I need that. Thanks so much.
Yeah. And then the good news is I'm gonna be a lot nicer next week, like I said. I'm ready to get into the weeds on all the headlines. I'm gonna give feedback, we're gonna revise, we're gonna brainstorm, we're gonna come up with new ideas. And so I'm in it with you. But just do your best until then.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, let's wrap up here. We got some hard work to do. Everybody's going to work on the category of one headline. We'll be back next Thursday to review everybody's final ones, give you feedback. In the meantime, don't cry too much. I wasn't being too serious about that, but put in the work. Bettina probably had a couple tears along the way. Sure, that's okay. But do your best. We'll review them next week. Everybody, have a great rest of your week. We'll see you again really soon. Good luck. You bet. See everyone.